Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Explore More podcast, where we dig deep into scholarly papers and try to extract some fascinating insights for you. I'm Richard Price, CEO of academia.edu, and today we've got something quite interesting. Just as a quick reminder before we begin, I'm here presenting this paper without endorsing it, more like a guide through some interesting research findings. So, let's dive in. Today, we're unraveling the continuum of dynamic semiotic interaction, or CDSI for short. It's a theory crafted by Hanan Habibzai that gives us fresh perspectives on how signs and symbols in communication evolve, especially in this digital age we've got going on. You know, it's kind of fun, and logos aren't just static images anymore. They're constantly shifting with technology, cultural changes, and individual interpretations, having a mood ring of communication, right? So what's the core question or problem this paper addresses? Oh, it's a big one. Basically it deals with how signs and symbols, which were once seen as stagnant, are now constantly reinvented by users and technology. And why is this significant? Well, because our world is more interconnected than ever, especially with social media and digital communications. Think about it. How the same emoji can mean completely different things depending on who uses it, where, and how. The paper really hammers home that the meaning isn't fixed, but is in this perpetual state of evolution. All right, now let's move on to the juicy summary of the key findings and methods. There are some exciting parts here. The paper first delves into how conventional semiotic thinkers like Saussure and Peirce laid the groundwork for understanding signs. But back then, meanings were thought to remain stable after being interpreted. This is where CDSI turns the table, emphasizing that in today's frenetic digital space, meanings are in flux. So it suggests this new theoretical model, the CDSI, as I mentioned, that highlights the interplay between users, signs, technology, and context in shaping dynamic meanings. A bit mind-boggling, huh? But it's actually quite intuitive when you think about it. The paper elaborates this with something called the CDSI formula, marking the interaction between sign, user, context, and technology. Here's the kicker. It forms how we interpret things like emojis or corporate logos. And might I say, it's quite applicable in cross-cultural communications or in situations involving virtual reality and AI contexts. That's pretty significant when you think about the sheer volume of communication happening globally and digitally. Speaking of the scale of communication, did you know that the thumbs up emoji, for instance, means approval in some cultures, but can be offensive in others? That's a real testament to how meanings can be so context dependent, kind of like that situation where I once sent a thumbs up to a colleague overseas, and let's just say their reaction was a bit unexpected. Now, what methods did the author use to arrive at these insights? They drew comparisons to past semiotic frameworks and developed this formal model to fit the digital age. It's all captured visually too. There's a diagram illustrating how meanings evolve in modern communication environments, aligning well with the CDSI theory. These visuals really help ground the otherwise abstract concepts. But let's bring it closer to home. What does this mean for you, our listeners? Well, simply put, CDSI helps us understand that communication is not just sending or receiving messages, it's much more interactive and mutable. In the workplace or social settings, identifying these shifts in meaning can be crucial in addressing miscommunication or cultural insensitivity, especially in diverse spaces or digital interchanges. Of course, I have to point out that while CDSI offers a fresh lens, interpretations are still interpretations, right? The dialogue between theory and practice is ongoing, and that's where your insights become vital as they add depth and diversity to these scholarly theories. So, as we wrap up, let's maybe think about how this affects our digital lives, how we might better navigate the sea of symbols and icons that crowd our screens every day. It's an exciting world out there, with meanings ever shifting and evolving. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I enjoyed sharing this paper's insights with you. And remember, the world of academia is vast, and each piece offers us something new to explore. I hope you all have a wonderful day and think twice before sending that next emoji. Till next time, This is Richard Price signing off.